You're not broke because you're bad with money. You're broke because you're being quietly overcharged for almost everything you buy. Look at your last 30 days. You didn't buy a yacht. You didn't buy a mansion. You just lived your normal life, and somehow your bank account looks like it got hit by a truck. If that feels even a little too familiar, stay with me to the very end, because once you see where your money is actually going, you won't be able to unsee it, and you'll finally know what to stop buying and what to do instead. By the way, if at any moment during this video you catch yourself thinking, "Wow, that's me," hit like, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. We're going to talk honestly about money here. No fluff, no judgment, just truth. My name is Jake, and I help people understand money in a way that actually sticks. Not spreadsheets and jargon, real life, real decisions, real consequences. Let's start with something that used to make sense, and now doesn't at all. Fast food. Remember when fast food was the cheap option? The thing you grabbed when you were tired, broke, and needed something quick? Those days are gone.
You walk into a fast food place now, order a combo meal, maybe upgrade the drink, maybe add something small, and you're at $12, $15, even $20 for one person, eating in your car out of a paper bag. $20 used to be what you spent for a sit-down meal for two. Now, it's what a teenager spends on a quick bite after work. And here's the crazy part. The food isn't better. It's the same low-quality, ultra-processed junk it's always been. The only thing that improved is the price, for them, not for you. Let that sink in. You're paying restaurant prices for food that doesn't even come on a plate. If this is already hitting home, take a second, tap like, and share this with someone who says, "I don't know where my money goes," because we're literally looking at it. But fast food is just the warm-up. Let's move up one level, regular restaurants. Going out to eat used to be something you could do a few times a week without blowing up your budget. Now, it's a luxury. You sit down, order 2 entrees, maybe an appetizer, maybe dessert, a couple drinks, and by the time the bill lands on the table, you're at $60, $70, $80 for 2 people. Then you add tax and tip, and suddenly you're staring at a bill that's dangerously close to $100. One dinner, gone. No asset, no value that sticks around, just a memory and maybe a slightly guilty feeling.
Now imagine doing that 3 times a week. We call it living a little. But mathematically, you're setting fire to hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of those meals, you could have made something at home for a fraction of the cost. Would it be as perfectly presented? Probably not. Would it be Instagram-worthy? Maybe not. Would it keep you from being stressed about rent, bills, and debt? Yes. Ask yourself, is that plate of pasta really worth $25 when you could make the same thing at home for $3? Most people don't feel poor because of one huge, stupid purchase. They feel poor because of hundreds of tiny, normal decisions that slowly drain them. And eating out is one of the biggest. If you're still here, that already says something about you. You're not just doom scrolling. You actually want to understand this stuff. So if you haven't yet, subscribe and turn on notifications. I promise you, you'll start seeing your money differently. All right, let's move from your plate to your driveway. New cars. Buying a brand new car might be one of the most normalized financial disasters in modern life. You walk into a dealership, see that shiny new model, sit in it, smell that new car smell, and your brain goes, "I deserve this. I work hard. Why not?" Here's why not. The moment you drive that brand new car off the lot, it can lose around 20% of its value. You haven't even made it home, and you're thousands of dollars poorer. Not because you crashed it, not because anything broke, just because it's not new anymore. And it doesn't stop there. Year after year, the value keeps dropping. Meanwhile, you're making monthly payments plus interest on something that is literally worth less every month. That's the opposite of an investment. That's a slow, quiet money sink with leather seats. And a lot of people are signing up for 5, 6, even 7-year loans just to drive something shiny. 7 years. That's not a car payment. That's a second mortgage on a depreciating object.
Now compare that to a 3 or 4-year-old used car. Still reliable, still gets you from A to B, often the same model, same engine, same features. But now it costs half as much or less. And that big first chunk of depreciation, someone else already paid for it. When you buy new, you're paying full price for someone else's ego, for a feeling that lasts maybe a week. Let me be clear. If you're already rich, if your investments are solid and you're good financially, and you want a new car, go for it, enjoy it. But if you're drowning in payments, if you're stressed every month, if your credit cards are always near max, that new car is not a treat, it's a trap.
Ask yourself a brutal question. Do you want to look successful while you're broke? Or do you want to be successful, even if your car isn't impressive? Let's go from your driveway to your closet. Designer clothing, luxury brands, logos. Here's the truth nobody marketing to you wants you to know. Most people aren't buying quality, they're buying status. There is a difference between paying more for something that lasts and paying more for a logo. A well-made coat that lasts 10 winters, that can be smart. A pair of boots you can resole and wear for years, also smart. But a $200 t-shirt that costs $10 to make, just because it has a tiny logo on the front, that's not fashion. That's a tax on insecurity. You could buy a plain t-shirt for 10 or 15 bucks. Same material, same factory sometimes. But the second you slap a famous brand name on it, people happily hand over 200. For what? For the feeling, the illusion that other people will see them differently. Here's the harsh reality. Most people don't care what brand your shirt is. They're too busy worrying about their own lives. At most, someone sees the logo, registers it for half a second, and then forgets. You, on the other hand, worked hours of your life to earn that extra $190. Hours you'll never get back, for a logo that no one remembers.
And this isn't just about shirts. It's designer jeans, luxury handbags, expensive sneakers. The difference in quality between the luxury version and a solid mid-range brand is often tiny, but the difference in price? Massive. And if you're swiping a credit card to buy that handbag or those shoes, you're not just paying the sticker price, you're paying interest on your insecurity. People are buying things they don't need with money they don't have to impress people they don't like. You've heard that quote. It's cliché, but it's also one of the realest financial truths out there. If any part of this stings a little, don't click away. Lean into it. Hit like if you're still with me, because we're just getting into the real stuff. Let's talk about something that sounds innocent and even healthy: vacations. Travel has become almost a moral obligation. You have to travel while you're young. You have to see the world. If you're not flying somewhere cool every year, what are you even doing? And yeah, traveling can be amazing. Seeing new places, meeting people, learning about different cultures, that stuff can genuinely change you.
But let's be honest, most people aren't backpacking through small villages learning deep life lessons. They're going to the same tourist traps, staying in overpriced hotels, taking the same Instagram photos as everyone else, and putting it all on a credit card. Flight prices are up, hotels are up, food is up. Even budget travel is way more expensive than it used to be. But the pressure to go somewhere exotic every year hasn't gone down. It's gotten worse. So what happens? People book trips they can't actually afford. They tell themselves, you only live once, I'll figure it out later. Then later shows up as a credit card bill with interest. A week in paradise turns into a year of payments. Ask yourself this, is it really living your best life if you come home from your vacation more stressed about money than before you left? You don't have to stop traveling, but you do have to be honest with yourself. Can you actually afford this trip? Or are you buying a temporary escape that your future self is going to pay for, plus interest? There's nothing wrong with a road trip. There's nothing wrong with exploring your own country, your own state, your own city. There's nothing wrong with waiting a few years, stacking cash, and then taking a trip you can enjoy fully without dread.
If you're starting to see a pattern, good. Because now we get into one of the sneakiest money drains of all: subscriptions. On their own, they look harmless. $10 here, $15 there. Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, HBO, Prime, Apple TV, Paramount, Spotify, gym membership, cloud storage, apps. Each one feels tiny, but add them up and suddenly you're bleeding $60, $80, $100 or more every month. That's over $1,000 a year for stuff most people barely use. Think about it. How many streaming platforms do you open regularly? 1, maybe 2? And yet your bank account is paying for 6. You're not paying for entertainment at that point. You're paying for the option of entertainment you'll almost never use. And then there's cable. Yes, people are still paying insane amounts for cable packages with hundreds of channels they never watch. $150 a month for the privilege of flipping through channels and landing on nothing. Or the gym membership. Sign up in January, go for 2 weeks, then silence. But you keep paying because canceling feels like admitting defeat. So there goes another $500, $600, $800 a year to a building you never visit. Companies love subscriptions because you forget about them. You set them and never revisit them. It's like voluntarily increasing your monthly bills and then pretending they don't exist.
Here's a challenge. After this video, log into your bank or credit card account. Look at the last month, count how many recurring charges there are. Then ask yourself, do I actually use this enough to justify what it costs? If this video is opening your eyes even a little, subscribe right now. I want you to actually keep more of your money, not just nod along and then go back to normal. Now, let's talk about the shiny stuff, electronics. New phone, new laptop, new tablet, new smartwatch, new gaming console. Every year, these companies roll out a new model. The marketing is beautiful, the launch events are flashy, they tell you the camera is slightly better, the screen is slightly brighter, the chip is slightly faster. And people line up. They line up to drop $800, $1,000, $1,200 on a phone that does exactly what their old phone still does. Ask yourself honestly, do you need a better camera to take the same pictures of your coffee and your dog? Do you need a slightly faster chip for scrolling social media and sending texts? Most people upgrade not because their device died, but because they're bored, because the new thing makes them feel caught up, current, part of something. Meanwhile, the old device is perfectly fine. It can easily last 4 or 5 years, sometimes more.
If you kept each phone for 5 years instead of 2, you'd cut your phone spending by more than half. Multiply that by laptops, tablets, consoles, and suddenly we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars over a decade. And it's not an accident that your old device starts to feel slow right when the new one is announced. Planned obsolescence is real. Updates make older devices sluggish, batteries wear down faster, not enough to break completely, just enough to annoy you into buying again. So, here's a thought. What if you didn't play that game? What if you said, I'll upgrade when this actually dies, not when a commercial tells me to? Most people won't do that. They'll keep upgrading on schedule like it's some kind of law of nature. But if you're the one who breaks that pattern, you're the one who keeps more of your money. Let's go inside your home now. Your kitchen, your living room, your closets. We live in a world that tells you you need the best version of everything. The best blender, the best coffee machine, the best knives, the best couch, the best scented candles for some reason. And the best usually means the most expensive. But here's the truth. Generic cleaning products usually work just as well as the name brand stuff at half the price. You don't need a $400 blender unless you're running a smoothie bar. You don't need a $300 set of knives when you only ever use one chef's knife and a paring knife. People are buying pasta makers they never use, air fryers they forget about after a month, bread machines that become very expensive dust collectors. Then there's furniture. People are financing furniture now. Let that sink in. Not buying, financing, with interest for years. A couch, a coffee table, a bedroom set. These are things that wear out, get stained, go out of style, and yet people are putting them on payment plans like they're buying a house. You do not need to go $3,000 into debt to have a nice-looking living room. You can find solid furniture on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, thrift stores, clearance sections. You can buy used, clean it up, and have something totally fine for a fraction of the cost. But most people don't want fine. They want perfect. They want Pinterest perfect, Instagram perfect. They want their home to look like a showroom, even if their bank account looks like a disaster. And that brings us to the root of so much of this: status spending. Spending money not for comfort, not for quality, not even for happiness,
but for image.
The expensive watch you can barely afford. The luxury car you struggle to pay for. The designer bag that cost more than your emergency fund. The fancy restaurant you have to go to because that's where everyone else goes. It's all about projecting an image. I'm successful. I'm doing well. I belong. But here's the punchline. Truly wealthy people don't need to prove they're wealthy. They're not the ones flashing logos and maxing out their credit cards on status symbols. They don't need the costume. The ones trying the hardest to look rich are usually the ones furthest from actually being rich. They've confused looking successful with being secure. Being financially secure is quiet. It's boring from the outside. It looks like driving a normal car, wearing normal clothes, living in a place you can comfortably afford. It looks like a growing savings account, investments, no credit card debt, options. You can't see that on Instagram, so no one chases it. But you can feel it. You can feel what it's like to not panic when an unexpected bill shows up. You can feel what it's like to not dread payday because every dollar is already spoken for. You can feel what it's like to know that if you lost your job, you'd be okay for a while. That feeling is worth more than any logo, any car, any designer, anything. So where does this leave you?
Right now, almost everything costs more than it used to. Food, housing, travel, entertainment, pretty much everything. And companies have learned something. If they raise prices slowly and keep selling you convenience, status, and habit, you'll pay. Most people will just keep paying, unless you make a decision not to. You can't control inflation. You can't control corporate greed. You can't control the price of eggs or gas by yourself. But you can control this: what you choose to buy, what you choose to keep, what you choose to cut. The solution isn't to never enjoy anything. I'm not telling you to live in a cave, eat rice and beans, and never do anything fun. That's not living. The solution is to become brutally honest about what actually matters to you and what you've just been told should matter. Maybe you genuinely love good food. Cool. Learn to cook a few amazing meals at home. Go out less, but better. Maybe you really care about travel. Cool. Save for it. Plan for it. Don't put it on a 22% interest credit card. Maybe you really do value high-quality clothing. Cool. Buy a few excellent pieces and stop chasing trends and logos. The key word here is intentional.
Every dollar you spend should have a job. Pay the bills, protect the future, build wealth, or genuinely bring you joy you can't get another way. If it's not doing one of those, why are you giving it away? Here's what I want you to do after this video. For 1 month, just one, track every dollar that leaves your account. You don't need a fancy app. A simple note on your phone works. Write down what you spent, where, and why. At the end of the month, sit down with that list. Highlight everything that didn't actually make your life better. The random takeout you barely remember, the subscription you forgot about, the impulse Amazon purchases, the just because dinners that weren't special at all. Add those up. For most people, that number is shocking. We're talking hundreds, sometimes thousands. Now imagine that money in a savings account, in an index fund, paying off high-interest debt, buying you freedom instead of clutter. You don't have to cut everything. Start with the easiest stuff. The streaming services you barely use, the gym you don't go to, the random fast food runs, the upgrades you don't need. You'll be amazed how much slack you can create in your life without feeling deprived. Because here's the final truth I want to leave you with.
You can either spend your life trying to look rich to people who don't really care about you, or you can quietly become rich enough that you don't have to care what they think. You can't usually do both. Your future self is watching what you do right now. They're either going to thank you, or they're going to wonder why you traded their security for a bag, a car, a trip, a night out that you barely remember. If you've listened all the way to this point, that already sets you apart. Most people click away the second they feel uncomfortable. You stayed. You faced it. That's the first step. If this opened your eyes even a little, do 3 things for me and for yourself. Like this video so more people actually see it. Share it with someone you care about who keeps saying, "I don't know where my money goes." And subscribe, because this is just the beginning of you taking control of your money instead of letting it control you. I'll leave you with this. Every dollar you spend is a vote for the life you're going to have 5, 10, 20 years from now. So the question is, what kind of life are you voting for?